You guys. I don't think anyone was emotionally prepared for what happened the moment Jimin stepped into Incheon Airport. It lasted only a few moments, but somehow those few moments felt big enough to stop the entire fandom in its tracks. And believe me, what happened after that made everyone even more convinced that something unforgettable is about to happen in New Jersey. Honestly, can we talk about this? Because this wasn't just another airport departure. It felt like the beginning of a brand new chapter. The second Jimin's silhouette appeared inside the terminal, the entire atmosphere shifted. You could actually feel the energy changing before he even came fully into view. Cameras started moving. Voices suddenly grew louder. Army who had been waiting for hours instinctively leaned forward as if their hearts already knew exactly who was coming. And then, there he was. Walking with that unmistakable calm confidence that somehow only belongs to Park Jimin. No exaggerated movements. No unnecessary attention-seeking. Just quiet elegance. But somehow, that's exactly why nobody could look away. How does he even do that? How can someone simply walk through an airport and make it feel like the opening scene of a movie? The bright lights reflected softly against the polished floor, while flashes from hundreds of cameras flickered almost non-stop. Security moved carefully around him, but even they couldn't erase the feeling filling the entire terminal. Excitement. Anticipation. Emotion. It wasn't loud because people were screaming. It was loud because thousands of hearts seemed to beat at exactly the same rhythm. You could hear people whispering his name. Jimin. He's here. Oh my goodness. Some fans covered their mouths. Others couldn't stop smiling. Some were already tearing up before he even reached the check-in area. Honestly, if you've ever waited for someone you admire so deeply, you'll understand that feeling. It's almost impossible to explain. Your hands shake. Your heart races. Time suddenly moves both incredibly fast and unbelievably slow. Jimin looked comfortable, relaxed, and surprisingly gentle despite the massive attention surrounding him. Every few steps he slightly acknowledged the people waiting nearby, not with dramatic gestures, but with those tiny expressions that Army knows better than anyone. A soft smile. A small nod. The slightest glance. Those little moments. Those almost invisible gestures. Somehow they always become the biggest memories. And that was exactly what happened. Because the internet didn't explode over one huge dramatic event. It exploded over dozens of tiny moments. Moments that only Jimin could create. One clip immediately started spreading everywhere. It wasn't anything complicated. He simply looked toward one side of the crowd for barely a second. And smiled. That's it. One smile. Less than 2 seconds. Yet fans online immediately began posting things like, "I forgot how to breathe. My entire week has been healed. How can one person smile like that? Can we blame them?" Honestly, no. Because his smile never feels rehearsed. It feels warm. Real. Comforting. Like he's silently telling everyone, "I'm okay. Thank you for waiting." And that's probably why airport moments with Jimin always feel different. They're not concerts. They're not award shows. There aren't any giant stages. No choreography. No spotlight. No fireworks. It's just him. Walking naturally. Existing naturally. And somehow that's enough to leave millions of people speechless. But here's where things became even more emotional. Everyone already knew why this departure mattered so much. New Jersey. Just hearing those two words sent another wave of excitement through the fandom. Because this isn't simply another overseas schedule. It's BTS. Preparing to meet Army once again. Preparing for another unforgettable concert. Preparing to stand on stage together where thousands upon thousands of voices will become one. You could almost see that anticipation reflected on everyone's faces inside the airport. Not nervousness. Not pressure. hope, pure excitement. Because every airport departure is like the opening page of a story we haven't read yet. And New Jersey. That story feels incredibly special. Fans have been counting down for weeks. Making banners. Preparing outfits. Planning fan projects. Traveling from different states. Some are even flying across countries just for one chance to witness BTS live. Can you imagine that level of dedication? People rearranging work schedules. Saving money for months. Traveling thousands of miles. Just for one evening. Just to stand inside one stadium. Just to hear one voice. And when that voice belongs to Jimin, everything suddenly feels worth it. That's exactly why this airport appearance carried so much emotional weight. It wasn't just about seeing him leave Korea. It was about imagining everything waiting on the other side of that flight. The rehearsals. The backstage laughter. The final sound checks. The emotional moments before walking onto the stage. And just when you think that's already enough to make everyone emotional, something else happened. Fans began noticing little details. The outfit. The relaxed expression. The comfortable pace of his walk. Everything seemed to suggest that he was feeling confident and ready. Social media immediately became filled with comments analyzing every tiny detail. He looks healthy. He looks happy. He's glowing. He seems excited. Sometimes that's all ARMY wants. To see him smiling. To see him looking comfortable. To know he's taking care of himself. Because admiration has never been only about performances. It's always been about the person behind them. The human being. The artist. The man who continues giving so much of himself every single time he steps into the public eye. And honestly, that's why moments like this become unforgettable. Not because something shocking happened, but because nothing had to happen. His presence alone created the emotion. His aura created the story. His sincerity created the connection. There are celebrities who command attention because they demand it. Jimin somehow commands attention without asking for it at all. That's a completely different kind of power. As he continued walking through the terminal, cameras captured different angles. Every angle somehow looked cinematic. The soft airport lighting. The reflections on the floor. His calm expression. The subtle movement of his hair as he walked. Everything looked strangely beautiful. Almost unreal. Like scenes carefully filmed for a movie. Except, none of it was scripted. That's what makes these moments so addictive to watch. They're genuine. They're spontaneous. They're real. And maybe that's exactly why millions of people replay the same airport clips over and over again. Not searching for new information. Searching for new feelings. Trying to relive that tiny emotional spark. Trying to notice another smile. Another glance. Another little gesture. Another moment they somehow missed the first time. Did you feel that too? That strange feeling where you keep replaying the same 10-second video even though absolutely nothing dramatic happens? That's Jimin. He somehow turns ordinary moments into emotional memories. Meanwhile, excitement surrounding the upcoming New Jersey concert kept growing by the minute. Across social media, ARMY from around the world shared countdown posts, travel updates, and emotional messages about finally seeing BTS again. Every new airport photo felt less like a travel update and more like the official beginning of concert week. Fans imagined the stadium already filling with purple lights. The sound of thousands of ARMY bombs illuminating the night. The first notes echoing through the speakers. The deafening cheers the instant BTS appears. And somewhere backstage, Jimin preparing quietly. Taking one deep breath. Sharing smiles with the members. Adjusting his microphone. Maybe stretching before the performance. Maybe laughing about something only the members understand. Those are the moments fans rarely see. But somehow, Everyone imagines them. Because behind every spectacular performance is an artist experiencing the exact same anticipation. The excitement. The responsibility. The emotion. And that's what makes this journey from Incheon to New Jersey feel so meaningful. It's not merely the distance between two places. It's the emotional bridge connecting millions of people. One airport. One flight. One destination. But countless hearts waiting on the other side. As more videos continued appearing online, fans noticed another tiny interaction that instantly spread across every platform. Jimin briefly acknowledged people waiting nearby with that unmistakably gentle warmth that has become one of his defining qualities. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't overdone. Yet it reminded everyone why so many people feel personally connected to him despite never having met him. His kindness often speaks louder than words. And honestly, that might be one of his greatest strengths. Not only as an artist, but as a person. You can train vocals. You can practice choreography. You can improve stage presence. But genuine warmth, that's much harder to imitate. People feel it naturally. And Jimin has carried that quiet warmth throughout his career. That's why every airport appearance becomes more than simply travel footage. It's another reminder of the relationship BTS has built with ARMY over so many years. A relationship based on trust, respect, gratitude, and countless unforgettable memories. But if you think the airport excitement was already at its peak, just wait until New Jersey welcomes BTS. Because if this much emotion can happen before the flight even takes off, imagine what it will feel like when the lights finally go down. When thousands of ARMY bombs begin glowing purple across the stadium. When the opening music starts echoing through the air. And Jimin takes his very first step onto that stage.